What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the Intelligent Money Investing channel. Today, we are going to be talking about dividend growth stocks for the future, for the rest of 2018, and for the foreseeable future, just to really buy and hold and collect those dividends over the long run. Before we get into that, I want to ask you guys, please drop a like on this video. It really helps out the channel, kind of gives me more exposure on here, and helps other people realize the importance of these dividend growth stocks and how much that can help you in the long run. So, when you're looking at a dividend stock, really there's two things you want to see. You want to see the dividend yield, and you also want to notice a trajectory of growth in the dividend. A lot of the times, some of these high dividend yielding stocks will not have a good history of uh, of producing dividends consistently. And who cares if a stock has let's say a ridiculous like 20% dividend yield? If you're going to get 20% for 1 year and then you're never going to get paid back from that stock again, you're going to take a huge loss on that because your dividend's not going to be sustainable there. Whereas if you have a different stock and that stock has great fundamentals, very profitable and a growing business, but it's still paying out a dividend, they're going to keep raising that dividend year after year, and they're going to continue paying out and rewarding those shareholders that hold with them for the long term. And those people are just going to get a raise every single year. And a lot of those companies are called dividend aristocrats, but there's only one dividend aristocrat that we're going to be talking about here today. These are going to be more dividend growth stocks, as a lot of the dividend aristocrats don't grow too fast. Although to be considered a dividend aristocrat, you have to be increasing your dividend for 25 consecutive years. So we're looking for a little more aggressive growth with these, rather than just a little bit incremental growth for a long time. Okay, now the first stock we're going to be talking about as a dividend grower is going to be Apple, AAPL, the biggest stock in the market. And Apple is actually a new dividend stock, if you guys didn't know. It hasn't paid out a dividend for all that long. As you guys can see here, it was paying them from 95, and then it took a break all the way to 2012. And it's been paying out pretty steadily since then. Obviously, you can see a few splits here, and that's why it goes down so much. But it's really been raising up that dividend, and it's been making a big emphasis to be kind of pushing that dividend program. They recently had a huge, I believe it was a $10 billion increase in its payouts. So Apple's going to be a great one as they continue to up their profits and kind of use that product like environment that they have with right now I'm recording this video with an Apple iPhone X, a MacBook Pro, and an Apple cord to connect the two of them. So really they really have a bunch of products that work super well together, and really that allows them to keep bringing people back to buy more and more Apple products and that are extremely profitable for them, and then they can keep rewarding their shareholders for kind of holding those in the long run. As you can see here in 2016 or let's say 2015, it was paying out 47 cents at the beginning of 2015. Up that to 52 to 57. Now it's paying out about 63 cents per share per quarter, which is a pretty strong payout. Next one is going to be AbbVie. AbbVie's been an absolute beast of a stock for me. My top individual stock position, and I'm up about 68% on this 68% on this position. Been down a little bit in the last month, but I'm okay with it because it has just performed so fantastically for me over the time I've held this stock. And its dividend share, its dividend has really increased dramatically. So in the last year, when I started owning this stock, I believe, let's see what my first dividend from AbbVie was. My first AbbVie dividend was 64 cents, and then it got raised up to 71 cents. And now on its next dividend, as you guys can see over here on the left, is going to be all the way up to 96 cents. It's raised its dividend so fast over the last year, over about 50% in the last year. It's been absolutely incredible growth, and this is one of the biggest growing pharmaceutical companies in the market. So it's definitely one to consider holding over the long term. And when I mentioned those dividend aristocrats, AbbVie actually is considered a dividend aristocrat, even though it is a newer company. It split off from Abbott Laboratories a few years ago, but it kept that name kept that dividend aristocrat name from Abbott Laboratories when it switched off, and it has been increasing its dividend yield ever since. Absolutely great stock, and it's produced a lot of big returns, and it's really one of the biggest biotech companies right now, which has been absolutely great to see. And as one of my biggest holdings, that's been so exciting for me, as really, if you think about it, like when you're if you were to take an alternative investment and let's say you want to buy in a real estate and your rent isn't really going to go up that much that fast. It's kind of impossible. No one's going to spend double to rent your, like, let's say you own an apartment building. Nobody's going to go from paying you $1,000 a month for your unit to $2,000 a month in less than a year. So AbbVie's been really increasing that dividend, almost doubling it in the last few years. Ever since 2014, it was paying out 42 cents. Now it's paying all the way out to 96 cents per share per quarter, which is just an absolutely great payout in my opinion. Now the last one I want to talk about today is going to be American Tower. American Tower is a real estate investment trust actually into the cellular industry. So it's basically providing cell towers for Sprint, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon. Those are its biggest clients. And this thing has been an absolute beast over the last 5 years, up 105%. Last 1 year, it's up 27%. Been a little bit stagnant lately, but one of the biggest stories about this company is that it is such a big dividend grower. As we can see over on the left here, this dividend's been getting raised almost every quarter. It's honestly insane how much this thing has grown over the last few years, and it's a pretty competitive industry. Now that we know that T-Mobile and Sprint aren't going to be merging, that when there's more competition for those rents and to be able to rent out those towers and provide that service, AMT is going to be able to drive up their prices because of that higher demand. And that's going to help them be even more profitable than they are. And they're also expanding quickly. And while interest rates are rising at this time, and that makes REITs a little bit less desirable of a stock to buy into, a type of stock to buy into, rates are still historically low from where they usually are. And it's still a decent time to be able to buy and take on debt that's going to be paid off over the long run. So these are just a few stocks that are going to raise their dividend, I believe, over the long term, over the next few decades, and keep growing and keep growing. They're really companies that have a great positive trajectory. Another company you might want to think about for a dividend grower is going to be something like Microsoft. That's another relatively new dividend stock, and it's been absolutely raising that dividend, and it's really been crushing it on the profitability side too. So, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I know it's been a pretty tough market day, but when we're thinking about equity values, that's really all this is. But these dividends are going to be a lot more predictable and than something like market values and stuff like that. That's kind of, you can worry a little bit more about your dividends than you have to your market value, because your market value is going to fluctuate, and the only time you really have to worry a lot about your dividend is if they slash it. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please drop a like on this video if you could. If you want to download the Robinhood app, there is a link down in the description that gets us both a free app or a free stock, and that'd be awesome. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.